Hello everyone. Today our guest of honor is Henilsinh Raj. 20 years old, Henil is not just another student. He is a researcher as well as a founder of a startup called Axamine AI. And today we are going to deep dive into what goes on inside Henil's psyche and what drives him towards building these innovations. So Henil, welcome to the podcast.
Thank you. Thank you, David.
Henil, I want to start with the what are the loopholes in medical diagnosis sector that are not much talked about?
Well, I think the time is the biggest loophole for the time being. Like the diagnosis time matters a lot when it comes to cancer and certain diseases which are more deadly than others. So I think what our aim with Examine AI is reducing the time it takes for diagnosis, increasing the efficiency of the doctor, and enhancing the treatment plan, right? So overall, our aim is to assist the doctor to provide a better healthcare solution, right? So in no way we are trying to replace them, but we are trying to empower them with a tool that can help them make right decision and timely decision.
So, as per my understanding, the current loophole in medical diagnosis sector is whether a person wants to get a report regarding an MRI, let's say a CT scan. There has been a hefty amount of time consumed in that
Yeah,
area, right?
like in tier 2 and tier 3 cities, it's around 7 to 8 hours. Oh no, in tier 1 cities, 7 to 8 hours. And tier 2 and tier 3, it's around maybe 4 to 48 hours, right? Depending on what type of camera you are having, what hospital you are going, right? So this 24 hours to 48 hours gap is very huge when it comes to diagnosis, right? So, and I believe that there should be no delay in starting treatment. At least we should have a good level of solution.
The faster the
Yeah,
patient
the
receives
faster diagnosis, the faster the treatment. Yeah.
So my next question is, why the name Examine? What's the story behind it?
Many people don't know that, but the name was Diagnostics.
Diagnose.
Yeah, few people who are, affiliated with me and the company for 2 3 years, they know the company was Diagnostics, but I I just I just thought it's not triggering much, so I just switched it to Examine here.
But Examine sounds stimulating to me.
Yeah.
So it's a cool name. Now tell us what Examine AI is doing that no other diagnosis software does. If there are any other diagnosis
Yeah,
software.
like there are other players in the market as well, but we are working on VLM technology, visual language models. So it stands out in a way that it can, interpret reports as human does.
Hmm.
Like many other models that are out there, they are just segregating and segmenting the MRIs. But we don't want segregation and segmentation only, right? We want detailed analysis of the report, that what's going on in each and every part of the MRI, right? So that's where VLM can play a pivotal role.
VLM.
VLM, visual language models.
Vision language models. So let's say we provide a data, a CT scan report to your software. So the software interprets the inferences from the report, and based on those inferences, it makes an output, right?
Yeah.
That's what VLM does.
Yeah, that's what it is.
Perfect. So, at what point of time you had the inclination of starting up with Examine AI? What led you to our habit?
Well, I published my research paper probably when I was 17 or 18. It was on brain tumor, how we can detect brain tumor using CNN. So convolutional neural network is a type of neural network in AI. So that's where I noticed that AI can play a pivotal role in medical industry, right? So, and fast forward to 2023, my grandmother suffered from cancer, and that's where I noticed that there are lots of gap in diagnosis. Like for 1 or 2 weeks, she was treated as infection. The cancer was treated as infection, and the whole treatment was done assuming that she was suffering from an infection. But after 2 weeks, it was clear that she is having a cancer.
So there was a delay in that.
Yeah, there was a delay and there was a wrong treatment going on. It was for, infection, right? So it make her condition even worse. And when I was researching, when I was publishing the research report, I came across the number of WHO, like it's 138 million people get affected every year.
Oh my God.
So this is not a small, right? Being an AI developer, I thought that I can help cutting this number down. And there was a personal motive because I see the suffering of my grandmother, right?
So this particular incident pushed you to make a better solution for this.
Yeah,
right?
that's where I thought that I should improve my current research. That I should step up and do something for the society and deliver a better solution. Right?
Right. So, based on your journey, tell us about the initial struggles that every founder has to face and how did you tackle it?
Well, first of all, getting started is a really hard thing, right? The confidence that it takes to start a company or any startup, that is what important. And the other thing which, like founders, like many of my founder friends are facing is team. To find a proper right mindset with which match your goal is very difficult. Like we are living in golden age when it comes to India, the economic growth, right? So there are no lack of funds. There are investor release. There are incubators such as PIRC. Yeah, right. There are various government schemes and grants for funding. But apart from that, so funding is easy part. The hard part is having a team that are devoting their time, energy, and efforts for the long run. So sad is the big concern.
So the big need is getting enthusiastic members on board.
Exactly, get
Right?
enthusiasts on board.
So let's say you wanna hire a team. So what do you look for in an ideal? What's an ideal candidate idea for you?
Well, his tendency to reach the goal. Like I can recall one of my intern. So we were working on backend, and I was like, we need to use Firebase, right? So the intern was like, I don't really know Firebase. I was like, okay, this was expected. So, but what he did is he committed. He said, within 1 week I will deliver. I don't know Firebase, but I will deliver. I don't know how, but I will deliver. I was like, okay, you have 1 week to work on. Within 24 hours, he delivered.
Okay.
So the tendency to reach to solutions is what I look for in any intern or anyone in the team.
Driven by purpose.
Driven by purpose. There should be a firm dedication that I want that solution. How bad you want it.
I think each and every founder faces this kind of mindset, right?
Yeah, very well.
So, moving on, I want to ask what principle do you follow in order to deal with clients as well as investors? If you are pitching to investors.
Well, when it comes to pitching investors, I never been there. Like,
Man without plan.
yeah, I have no plans. I make my plans based on the situation and circumstances, right? So I just go there and it depends on how it's going. I will change the plan in mid of the pitch and I pivot there.
So everything is spontaneous.
Yeah, everything is spontaneous. Like if I go prepared, I just go. I can't go prepared. If I'm running from a script, I will screw up. But if I'm going unprepared, then I'm ready for anything unexceptional. Unexceptional.
So, to the listeners, I just want to add something to it. If you are attempting to do something and you are going to create a prior plan to it, rather than just creating an entire plan, just prepare an overview of a rough idea of what you are going to do the next day, right? And
yeah, you should draw a raw image that how it should be going and how you should build narrative while pitching, right? So you need to be a storyteller. You need to tell your story in as short and as simple terms as possible, right?
And further thing is, you have to assume that the audience you are speaking to you are going to teach them from zero, right?
Yeah, you
So
should.
they don't have any kind of knowledge.
Let's say I'm from tech background, right? So I can't expect that the other person would be from AI as well. Can be any domain. So I need to use as generalized and as layman language as possible.
Which is simple to understand.
Yeah, it should be simple and short.
The concept should be conveyed.
Yeah, it should be precise.
Yeah. So, Henil, tell us about your first twist with AI. What did you do and why? And at what point of time?
Well, before AI, I was in blockchain.
Blockchain.
I did blockchain, I learned blockchain, but then I thought that, it's very small field to explore. And to do anything in blockchain, we need decentralized architecture, right? Which is very costly. So let's say I'm building a website, I can see the website online, right? For decentralizing the blockchain, it's very costly. And it's, the same architecture of the blockchain, but different implementation. We have crypto, we have some ledger for security, right? So it's same architecture, we are using different use cases. So I thought I want to shift somewhere where there should be infinite possibility. Like it should be a broad horizon.
Diverse.
Yeah, that's where I started with AI.
Yeah.
So when I dive in, then I was like, I wondered that this is so big and there is so much thing to be done yet. So that's what excites me. And I've been in 3 to 4 years, like 3 to 4 years I've been in which year. So I'm still learning. I'm right now diving into NLP.
So that's wonderful. Actually, when I got to know first about ChatGPT, the first thing I did was I asked ChatGPT to prepare a report for my thesis and my project, and I was shocked the level of detail it came up with. So it's simply, I think, very magnificent the way AI does things, right? So further, let's dive towards your personal side as well. I want to ask a side of Henil that most people don't know about.
Well, there are lots of scientific about, but many people don't know I'm fond of poetry.
You are fond of poetry.
Yeah, I like I don't write, but I like poetry.
Any fancy poets you
Yeah,
admire?
like yeah, I also like the Kashmir.
The Mahabharata.
Yeah, the
The retelling of Mahabharata.
Yeah, I'm way more spiritual than I was supposed.
The spirituality, I think, that helps in certain areas, right?
Yes,
It calms you and it motivates you,
yeah,
inspires you.
it gives a sense of security that everything will be in perspective at the end of the day.
Mhm. So it keeps things in motion.
Yeah,
And I like ritual.
it acts as good, and it acts as fuel to keep pushing your boundaries in personal and professional life,
So,
as well as your spiritual life.
so apart from being a founder, a researcher, and an engineer, you are also a spiritual person.
Yeah.
That's good to know. So, Henil, let's dive into your personal interests as well. What's your go-to movie?
Well, I don't watch lots of movie, but I do like web series. One web series I watch, I did watch. It's Big Bang Theory.
Big Bang Theory.
Yeah,
Yeah.
it's one of my go-to movie. Like, it's I want to have snack, I just start Big Bang Theory and
I think I haven't watched Big Bang Theory yet, but there is a character named Raj.
Yeah.
And he is also an engineer.
Yeah, no, he's an astrophysicist.
Yeah, that's interesting. So, what is your takeaway from Big Bang Theory? Do you like watch it to just get chilled out, or do you actually find it intriguing?
Big Bang Theory is really inspiring. It was one of the movies that inspired me to write a research paper.
Wow.
Being nerdy is cool,
Nerdy is
according to that, and I like that thought.
right.
Right? So, they are all scientists, they are hanging out, they are playing games, nerdy, they are doing nerdy things, but apart from that, they are well settled and well versed in their industry.
Right.
So, how they are managing their personal and professional life, what, exciting about science and tech in general.
So it's in a way it's Stimulating.
stimulating.
And from the title Big Bang Theory, I get reminded from a friend of mine, which once told me this idea that Big Bang might be a reason of creation of this universe, but Adam and Eve are the creation of God, right? So there is a higher force. What
Yeah,
do you think of it?
I mean, even Einstein has quoted that God don't say lies to the universe, right? There is some
Validity in this
yeah, there
statement.
is some supernatural power which is still beyond our human perspective and concept. That science can't encapsulate this.
Hmm. But there are certain concepts where science is failing.
Yeah.
It's not
Science,
clearly explained.
science levels limitation.
Hmm.
We usually don't have answers to many things like time travel, black hole, wormhole. Like there are lots of things to be yet unfolded.
There are countless wonders.
Yeah, there are always others.
Right. So, moving on, Henil, tell me what's your favorite book and why?
Well, there are many favorite books, but if I say my favorite book, then it would be Lincoln Roses.
Think and Grow Rich by Napoleon Hill.
Yes.
What is it about?
It's about general how you should be. It's about mindset. What is proper mindset to be successful? There are lots of case study of people having right mindset and right attitude
Hmm.
towards their goal, which drives them. So it's like very important. It's evaluated more than 100 years, I guess. Within 100 what time. It's encapsulation of more than 500 successful politicians and entrepreneurs. So there is something about their book which is
A compilation of their ideas.
compilation of their ideas in their perspective of life.
So, how has Think and Grow Rich personally helped you in your field?
Well, in my field, that mindset, it creates proper mindset. The way you deal with people, the way you structure your belief, I take that away from.
So, have you read Chanakya?
No, not yet, but it's in my vision.
I would totally suggest you to read Chanakya AI as well as I think you have read autobiography of a AI, right? Very difficult book to digest. What was your experience?
Well, it takes 7 to 8 months first of all to finish that book, and another 7 to 8 to get out of it.
I think we have that right here.
Yeah, yeah.
The cover actually intrigues me. The way Paramahansa Yogananda is pictured here, I think there is some sort of wonder.
Yeah, I mean, I'm practicing around Bhagavad Gita, I read it, and it is focused on Kriya Yoga, which
Kriya
is
Yoga.
mentioned in the third chapter of Bhagavad Gita. So this is generally how you should embody yoga in your life, right? How you should live your life for being a perfect being and attain the higher self moksha. There are various stories, testimonies, and principles of spirituality which are very heavy
And abstract.
and abstract. Like when which I've been reading the Gita for 5 years, but if someone read it without that, then it is you won't get a single word what it's about, right? So that person will think that this is a hoax or just a marketing.
Metaphysical
Yeah.
concept. So, Bhagavad Gita is an essential bit, right?
Yeah.
And even I had my try with Bhagavad Gita as well as Yogi, but it didn't get anywhere. But I will look forward to it. So my next question is, you have authored a book, and we have that fundamental of convolutional neural networks. So tell us what is it about?
I write
How it can help our users.
I write this book with my friend Sayed. He's also founder of OpenRed. So basically, we were 16 or 17 when we started with AI, right? So this is our compilation of our journey of CNN is very small topic of AI, but how we learned it, what project we did, and what was our approach. That is discovery. Actually, that's what leads us to start a project.
If you are to explain what is ENN to a 15-year-old, what would you say?
Okay, so imagine you CNN as a detective, finding for clues, having a magnifying glass, right? So let's say the room is an image. So what CNN will do is it will find each and every pixel for the changes and patterns, right? It will find the patterns in pixels and it will gain knowledge from that pattern. It will see that certain patterns are repeating or certain patterns are in certain ways, that it will form meaning from it. So let's say we have image of dog and cat. We train a CNN on both. So it will be able to recognize what's a dog and what's a cat based on their facial feature and everything, right? That's why CNN is very beneficial in medical because it can notice single pixel. What eyes cannot. It can see the variation in color. It can see the variation in depth. What eyes can, right? So that's why CNN is game changer.
Well, it sounds interesting. So even the slightest change can be recognized,
Yeah.
right? Like a pattern recognition.
Yeah, pattern difference. But images,
Right.
images rather than one on one.
Well, I would encourage our listeners and viewers to take a look at this book. It's available online.
Yeah, it's on Amazon and you can buy it from 40 as well.
Okay, so let's dive more towards AI and blockchain. Given the current scenario of blockchain, AI, and metaverse, where do you think we as a human race are heading at in the next 10 years?
Well, future is going to be different, but it must be rooted in today's reality, right? So until and unless this technology are tackling today's problem, it will keep tackling it in the future, or else it will be a problem, right? So blockchain was very, in 4 5 years back, in 1920s, right? Blockchain was really hot topic right now, AI is right? So people notice that blockchain has limitations, so they go for new technology. And new technology will eventually take over. Today AI is advanced. Maybe in future we have more advanced technology. But what I can say is AI will change the way we live our day-to-day life. It will be much
routine tasks.
yeah, it will be much more simplified and streamlined.
So it's a game of survival of the fittest.
Yeah.
If you are to survive, you have to adapt.
You have to solve the current problems. You can't say that okay, we will solve that 50 years the problem which is going to arise in next 50 years, right? It will flourish, but very slow. That's what. But AI is not a new thing. It was back then in 1945, 1940s during machine. Even it was used in World War II to put the messages, right?
In World War II.
Yeah, so that's so that's where the roots of AI started.
Okay.
But there, we were capable of really succeeding back then also, but we were lacking in computational cost. We don't have the machine powerful enough to compute mathematical code, right?
I think it reminds me of a movie from a Benedict Cumberbatch. They kind of created a spy software that analyzes the opponent's messages that are being transferred.
Yeah, yes,
That's
what happened.
what's it called? Like
Encryption.
encryption, something like
Yeah,
that.
so that's where World War II they were
Yeah.
using it to decode the Nazi
Yeah.
messages and all.
I just forgot his name, but it was very intriguing. Well, now paint us a picture of how a day-to-day task will look like in next 10 years.
Like
Give us an example.
Like I fear that if we include AI that much in our life, we will lose our mind capability to think hard and
We will be dependent on.
we will be completely dependent on technology. That's what happened with cell phone and
I think it's happening right.
it's happening right now. Let's say I have to write email. I don't write it myself. I go for Gmail. Everyone does this, right? You open LinkedIn and the captions and everything are GPT related, right? So that's where I fear that AI would have a bad impact on human thinking.
What do you think can be done? Do you think there has to be any limitation of what extent we can use this software?
No, I don't think we can impose any limitation.
Yeah.
It should be from person itself.
Mm.
Let's say
It should be an understanding.
it should be a general understanding that I should not completely rely on AI. I should have my own. on my thought process and then should do
I
within
think
myself.
AI is right now diving into arts as well. It can write
That's
poetry,
a creative
it can write books, it can create illustrations and all sorts of things. I think that's a huge effect.
Yeah, but when it comes to creativity, I don't think
It cannot replace
maybe in
science.
longer term, 20, 50 years, but not right now.
Yeah, that personal touch, that personal human touch is
Like there are certain things where personal touch is much more valuable
yeah.
because we have emotional connects with them.
AI cannot.
AI cannot
learn from
replace
that.
anything which is connected to emotion.
Yeah. So, can you tell us about your coding days?
Well, coding days, it was long, it is long journey, 5, 6 years. My go-to language is Python. Like I'm very handy in Python. I can do anything in Python. It is my superpower. So in initially I start by solving, complex problem, Google problem, lead codes and all. Then I moved to web development. I created my first website when I was in 10th standard.
Wow. What was it?
It was Bookstagram, it's still like Bookstagram Amplify, you can search it. So basically, I'm fond of books. So I thought there should be a platform where anyone can upload their book as well as read the book.
Upload and read that.
Yeah.
You did that in 10th standard.
Yeah, I did that in principle. It was very basic website using HTML, CSS, still working. So I did that because in COVID time it was very difficult to access notes as well. So that's where I thought that why we books we can also upload class notes, so classmates can exchange their notes and everything like that. So that's where I created it, and we get around 200 to 300 hits in 1 week from different countries, Australia, America, various parts of
I
the
think
world.
this event is in contrast to what Mark Zuckerberg did, right?
Yeah.
You have seen the movie.
Yeah, the social network. Yeah, I did see the social network.
He just created the site out of fun, and he had no idea that this would blow up to
Yeah.
this extent.
But I did that for 1 year, then I didn't continue it. Because at that time I was just a student exploring.
You were starting.
I was starting out. I was exploring the possibilities of what can be moved done.
Right. So, Henil, if a student who is from non-AI background and he wants to dive into this field, what would you suggest him to start with?
If you want to start with AI, or not only but anyway, like I can see,
It can be anything.
I can see like the people who are in 50 years in this industry.
They are taking up courses to learn it.
Because they fear they will be replaced by more skilled people, right? So to anyone, if you want to start by basic. Uh, Start with Python because it is more handy when it comes to AI. Start with Python. Learn the different modules like NumPy, Matplotlib, Pandas. Learn the basic principle of statistics, metrics, and how things work. Then clear your object-oriented programming concepts. Then start with libraries like TensorFlow or Python that are specifically for AI. So it is more 1 to 3 year journey. But if you have the fundamental clear, you can directly start with AI, directly start with TensorFlow. Like if you know Python, Matplotlib and all, you can directly shift to TensorFlow and Python.
So, what I feel about starting out with learning any new skills is we are living in an age of information overflow, right? There is a term called infobesity. So, a person wants to learn Python. There are n number of resources available. And about those resources, do you feel that quality education is costly and it's not easily available?
No, I believe that we are living in best age because everything is all about it, right?
Yeah, but who can be really trusted? Like I am what my point is about quality education.
Yeah, there are various channels, like in YouTube, Chinese lecture, Goldwich, Indian dot com, right? So they are well established, they have well followed, well reputed person, right, who have already done something in industry. You should always, and it's about quality of content, right? So after 1 or 2 video, you will get the idea that, yeah, okay, I'm getting anything or it's just a hoax or I'm stuck in a loop, right?
Any personal YouTube educator that you recommend?
In starting day, I start with code with Henil. I learned
Code
Python.
with
Code with Henil.
Henil.
Code with Henil. Like any PS doesn't know him because he literally knows everything. He has playlists on every possible language, every possible topic. So I started with them. For DSA, I prefer Jenny's lecture. There are various other channels available.
I think there is a lot of traffic in YouTube, for particularly for AI learners. Like,
Yeah. But the thing with AI is you can't get advanced AI topic and concepts implementation on YouTube. You need to go for dedicated course when it comes to AI. If you find a YouTube video, it will be very generic or small information,
just the basic.
just a basic idea. So if you want to go in deep, you should go for articles, you should go for research papers, you should go for professional courses. And best way to learn is
Research.
because you get the what has been already done and what is being done today. So you get the idea of what is working out and what is not working.
So to the listeners, as Henil said, we would just like you, if you want to start with something, research paper is the right
Yeah,
answer.
research paper is right way, but if you are just starting, it will be more complex with just than a research paper. Right.
So they should start with a video.
They should start with a video. Gain some knowledge, go for articles. If you are confident with the article, go for research.
Okay. As a founder, who do you look up to? Who inspires you the most?
Well, there are many entrepreneurs. For humanity touch, I always look towards Sarvati Tata. When it comes to business and the overall get it all attitude, I look towards Elon Musk. And when it comes to, being a young age founder, I always look up to Mark Zuckerberg.
So from a humanistic perspective, Ratan Tata.
Yeah,
From technological perspective, Elon
yeah,
Musk. And from innovation perspective, Mark Zuckerberg.
yeah. Or, and someone who has dedicated his life for a purpose.
I think Elon Musk is very good towards it.
He is purpose driven. Like he don't care about money. He is ready to risk it all. That's a great attitude to have in any entrepreneur.
Right. So, Henil, tell me, if what if LLMs, language learning models, can replace teachers and users? Is it possible?
Well, no, I don't think calendar will replace teacher. It will assist teacher. It will empower teacher, but it can't replace teacher. As I say, anything that has emotion connected can't be replaced. Like, especially in Indian society, we have an emotion connect with teacher, like Guru, right? Guru Bharteka. So I don't think that LLM can replace teacher, but it will surely empower them.
Guru, according to Hindu scripture, Guru is the highest position of respect that
Yeah,
can be gained, right?
yeah,
Even higher than parents.
yeah.
So,
As a matter of fact, there is
yeah.
Guru Brahma, Guru Vishnu, Guru Deva.
Yes, right.
So we are giving same status to Guru as we give to our gods and deities.
Of course, that's a noble thought. So, in your journey, have you encountered any setbacks on your way up here? And if yes, how did you tackle them?
I won't say that, but a state of confusion.
Oh,
Well, no, if I talk about Axamine and the entrepreneur journey, there are not much setbacks. There are delays, but not setbacks. If in personal growth, there were setbacks like from blockchain, I was lost. I was learning 3 years in Meta. I was in Meta. I was learning 3 years. I was creating 3D things and VR things. But I was still feeling void and lost. I was thinking that no, Meta is not right for me. And it was not. Because there were, many mathematical competition. Like in mathematical competition, are in AI as well, right? But I'm willing to do that. I'm not willing to, create a 3D animation. I don't think it's worth it.
so there was a state of dilemma, a state of conflict.
A state of, oh yeah, a state of conflict and confusion. It was there, but I would say that something.
Okay,
I see them as a learning problem.
that's amazing. But how did you tackle those conflicts?
Silence.
Silence.
Yeah. So when you are flooded with thoughts and multiple things are coming out, just sit for hours here without technology, without doing anything.
Just sit with yourself.
Just sit with yourself and with your thoughts. There is one quote, not every thought is your thought.
Yeah.
Some thoughts are inclined and come from the societal pressure, from the things that going around you, but it's not your thought.
And ideas that this person bias.
Yeah.
Created from
That
society.
thought is induced thought. Maybe from television, maybe from social media, but that's not your thought.
It's a trigger.
That's a triggered thought. So to find what's your thought and what's not your thought, you should sit down and you should analyze. Like I know that this thought can't be mine because I don't think that way. I can't think this grows or I can't think in this pattern. Right? For that you need to sit down, maybe a journal, maybe a pen and book. Just write it down your thoughts and you will write down.
Your ideas plan.
Your ideas plan, yeah.
So, sitting down with yourself and journaling might be a good process. There is also a cliche quote about this. We are not our thoughts, we are the observer.
Yeah, we are the observer. Okay. The brain is for having thoughts, not storing thoughts.
Yeah.
We should have them, we should not store it.
We should simply visualize it
Yeah.
and not.
If in doubt, write it out. So, if in doubt, write it out.
So, this one is a tricky question. Suppose a 15-year-old wants to build a startup which is based out of AI. What are the best case scenarios or areas he or she must aim at? Given the current trends.
I think those who is solving for climate crisis will win in longer run. Those who are creating sustainable development and sustainable technology would be a winner. Cost of the training and AI knowledge is very huge right now. So if you are able to save environment, why delivering the innovation? You will need.
So climate conservation and sustainable energy conservation.
Sustainable tech in general. It can be anything. It can be electricity. It can be fossil fuel. It can be solar. Anything which is causing harm to nature. You are figuring out an alternative. You say that you are already a winner.
So in the long run, this area is something that can be roam around, right?
Yeah. It is very good. And I believe education. Like we see the rise of bikes, we see the collapse as well, right? So it indicates there are still much more to figure out in health tech.
Right.
If you are figuring out that gaps and solving that, you can be the next bikers.
It just boomed up in the last 5 years after buying.
Yeah, after physics post-COVID era, after the post-COVID era, we see the rise in health tech. Because we were used to learning the Gmail, in COVID time we take online resources and all that. So we see it as a possibility of learning. Right? So there are much more to explore in it.
Many more edtech startups came up after physics, sorry, by this physics wala, then I think Anna Academy is one of them. And there was also one incident where IG's clients were facing some constraints with the founders. There was a conflict regarding their treatment, their personal treatment. Have you heard about it?
Yeah, I was some news, but okay, so they were targeting, what I believe that they were targeting parents rather than students.
I think they were manipulating.
They were manipulating. So, they were initially they start with software. I was also using Byju's when I was in 7th grade for maths.
Okay.
They have some high quality of content back there. But when they came up with their fees and subscription base and everything like that, they screw up there.
Right.
Because their target shift from student to parents. They were trying to convince parents that take our kid, it will be helpful.
So the motive of providing quality education transition
Yeah,
and training customers.
this shifted from their mission.
Yeah, right.
Like the Facebook was started with connecting people. It's still sticking with that thought. They are still connecting people and they are still sticking, right? So when you shift your focus, that's where crumble and all start.
People always find some sort of way
Yeah.
distort what the entire purpose is.
And you know, back then Byju's was the only player. But on academia and all came along with different models and so it was against the Byju's.
Right. So, Henil, give us a tour. What goes inside your brain night before you are dealing with a pitch or giving a major event?
Well, nothing about the event. Well, if I think about the event that I'm, meeting that person, or I'm meeting the minister, or I'm going for a pitch, if I keep thinking, it will keep indicating me that I'm nervous, I'm not prepared. But if I don't think about it, that I'm meeting that person or I'm having that event, I will be confident. I will normalize that. Okay, this is a normal day, so I will be confident. I will be, in my game. If I keep that pressure on me that I'm meeting this person or I'm having
So you are simply relaxed.
I'm relaxed. There nothing goes in. Just
no
relax.
practice of sorts.
It's a normal day. Yeah. If I take it as a normal day, it will go as a normal day.
That sounds good. So moving on, this is also a trick. If you could master any skill instantly, what would it be and why?
Well, I would like to be more expressive.
More expressive.
Expressing my feelings and thoughts. As a computer science student, I believe that my brain is more trained logically. I find logic in everything. This is bad, which is suddenly a bad thing, right? So I want to be in touch with my emotional side more intense.
On that, I want to add something. We are both based on science. We belong to a science field, right? So there is a general idea that science stream students always find a right answer or a wrong answer to any of situations. There is always a right or a wrong for something.
Yeah.
But what art student does is they simply explore. They find out what's going inside the cave, what are the elements, what are the possibilities. So that's the notion that we can learn from art students.
Every engineering and science background should have, we should not find logic in everything.
Right.
We don't need answers of everything. Right? Something are good as they are.
Right. So we are finally moving on to the concluding parts. Now I want to ask you, what do you think is the biggest misconception people have about your field?
Well, in AI, I think people believe that it will, create unemployment. I think it will
create opportunities.
More opportunity. That's what happened, right? When computers came along, that's what happened. People was like it will take the job. But
people feared.
Yeah, people feared that it will take the job. There were debates, right? What happened? It create more opportunity. It create more fields.
Right.
It create more companies and provide more employment. Same thing happened with print press. When print press from China shifted to Europe, there were lots of resilience in adapting the print press. They thought that the traditional worker who are pressing
daily wage
worker who are handcrafting their pages and all, they will lose job. But no, print press is still working and it provides more opportunity, right? So that's same thing with AI. We will not. Probably in the beginning of the era we will lose jobs, certainly lose jobs. But in longer run, we will also gain more employment. We will create new field, we will create new domain, and overall new industry. High quality work.
High quality products.
Everything will be more productive, and there will be more field, more new innovation.
So if a new field enters into the market, people need not necessarily need to create havoc about it.
Yeah, like there are consequences, right? Every action has a reaction. There will be consequences of AI, but just because it has some consequences doesn't mean we should decline the innovation, right? We should find a way.
Eventually, it's for the betterment.
Eventually, it's for the betterment of the society, and it will create opportunity, right?
Right. what's a belief or opinion you have changed your mind about over the years?
Well, first, I believe entrepreneurship was a game of chance. At starting, like when I was in school days, Instagram days, I always believed entrepreneurship was a game of luck and chance. But now it's changed. I believe if you are dedicated enough, you are working, you are in your game, then anyone can be a successful.
It demands efforts.
It's demand efforts.
And constant.
Entrepreneurship is all about how much energy and time you are willing to invest.
Also, what are you willing to sacrifice?
Yeah, how far you can go.
Exactly.
At what extent you are willing to risk things.
So, what's the most adventurous thing you've done?
Starting a startup.
That's amazing.
Yeah.
So, one final question before we move on to the rapid fire round.
Yeah.
Tell us about Parole University's founder studio. How it helped you leverage your idea.
Okay, so if anyone don't know, I'm incubated in PIRC, which is Entrepreneur Center of Parole University. So it provides all kind of support from funding, from networking, from workspace, everything. So I think affiliating with PIRC was a game changer for me. That's where my network grew. You know, there is a quote here: network is your network.
Yeah, right.
So I meet wonderful people through PIRC. Now I'm running a successful startup. So yeah, that environment which any entrepreneur want is provided by PIRC.
So to our listeners and viewers, can any student from another university can apply in this?
Yeah, anyone can apply. If you have idea that can work, you believe that it deliver innovation or it can be a successful venture, you can use it.
So if you have any idea, you can totally find an adequate environment and encouraging environment.
Yeah,
right. So that's it. Let's move on to the rapid fire round, right? 7 questions and answers in single word. Ready?
Yeah.
Favorite book?
Think and grow rich.
Favorite movie?
The Big Bang Theory.
Favorite song?
Favorite song? Cornfield Cheese.
From Interstellar,
From
right?
Interstellar, right.
My personal favorite is coffee or tea first.
When chilling, when working on something, coffee.
Perfect. Morning or night person?
Night person.
One thing you can't live without.
Technology.
And what's your guilty pleasure?
That I'm no. I
Overworked, have you
no.
feel that?
I expect more from me. I'm never satisfied with what I do, and I keep expecting more.
Not settling, right?
Yeah, never settle.
Perfect. So, in conclusion, to wrap it up, any piece of advice you would like to leave our listeners and our your fellow juniors as well? Final piece of advice.
If you want to have a startup or start your company, then don't wait for a perfect moment. Just have it on paper, then create a prototype, then seek for incubation, right? So don't wait to start a startup, just start it. Be spontaneous in things which you
don't wait for the perfect opportunity.
Yeah.
Just get this thing started.
Get things done. Yeah.
So thank you so much, Henil. I think we had a wonderful time.
Yeah, indeed.